to say arrivederci because of the controversial decisions he made, but he is courageous, that's for sure. He sticks to his guns. And then Ian Durrant, bags of experience, of course. He had that tragic injury, but he's recovered. And there's Chris Sutton, he had the shoulder injury. Now I wonder how much of a risk a shoulder, coming back after a shoulder injury is, given it can go any time.
Very much so. It is an injury that, you know, he'll feel that he can run freely, but at any time in the game, that's the type of injury that can come back to haunt him. Well,
not only current form, but historical pedigree would favour Celtic in the 24th final appearance. And welcome to the Cup final, Bobby Petter. A little bit of exuberance there. We'll change that description as the game goes on, but that's more charitable at the start. 24th final appearance for Celtic. Killie were last at this stage 39 years ago. Well, that's when Hampden was a grand canyon of football. But I don't think this new modernised setting will take the edge off Kilmarnock, who I'm quite sure Billy would be delighted to prove the forecast all wrong.
Very much so, and if that's the type of thing that you can work in your favour.
And there he goes down again. Now remember, he's come back, straight back from injury after 3 weeks. And following through there, rather recklessly. Well, I'm quite sure that they realised the danger would come from Bobby Petter on this wide left position. And watching this game, the way that Lennon seems to sense the important little positions on the field.
He does, he senses danger when it appears for Celtic.
That's a good run forward, Healy. Chick, an enticing ball there, and you could see how dangerous Larson was as they came forward, but that, I think, is a kind of clutch that will give a goalkeeper confidence.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what any goalkeeper in a cup final would ask for, is a chance to come and take a cross confidently, as Gordon Marshall did there.
They're spreading out well, Kilmarnock. That's a decent ball forward. Kokar, Vega with him. Forced to put it back to Gus McPherson. Deeply around, Kokar going in here. Can it be put back? That's a lovely move by Kilmarnock. Trying to slip it back inside to Kokar, who started that. I think the referee's whistle couldn't be heard by some of the players. The play's going to be pulled all the way back, almost to the halfway line.
That's a
Freddie Dean-Deleu, I think they're going to have a word with him.
Yeah, that's a problem that teams have. Larson's so mobile, he gets about the whole width of the pitch. And once he gets into a wide area, he's very positive and looks to run players.
And there's a booking. Freddie Dean-Deleu, the Frenchman. Gould got it away, but it's loose in midfield, and that was a flying elbow, I think, catching Ian Durrant.
I think Kilmarnock will be encouraged by the start they've had in the game. They've had a fair bit of the ball, and they had a lovely flowing move there, which just broke down on the edge of the penalty box, but certainly playing with confidence.
It's touched inside, and Mjolby comes across. Well, they are confident, there's no doubt about that, and Gary Hay coming up very fast on the left-hand side there. Johan Mjolby has been going through a season with injections, pain-killing injections, which may be required on the other side by Hay there after that clatter. Bit of wrestling going on the touchline. Well, they're preparing carefully for it. And it goes, and just touched away by Vega. Well, no inhibitions about the way Kilmarnock are playing in this game, and I think Bobby Petter is finished. I think the groin has gone. And there's nobody in the middle there for Kilmarnock. Wasted ball as Petter lies in agony. Exactly, 10 minutes gone, and we have the most serious incident of the game so far. And judging by the body language down there, I doubt very much if Peter's going to have any more to do with this game. There's Dargo. That's a great tackle. Well, I thought he took the ball.
I thought it was a good tackle, I must admit. It's a type of thing that Lennon does so well, tracking back there. And
there's a chance now. Ball swept in, and I think just to my right-hand side, and that expression by Coca will reveal it, the flag was up.
They've tried to play a quick free kick and trying to catch Celtic.
He puts his flag up though, right away. Lambert tries to lay it off. Sutton. Larson finding himself in the right wing this time. Well, that's a tempting ball. I think coming in at the back, Stephen Craney was adjudged to have, oh, well, he didn't touch anybody. Certainly the flag went up and the referee pointed, and Kilmarnock are getting a free kick.
I think it's a contact with Chris Sutton, and I must say I thought it really was the other way. I think it was young Innes just stood his ground and took the challenge, and it's gone against Celtic.
Dargo again doing just a little bit more mobile. Well, Innes, as I said, has to be careful. Now Larson is going to the sidelines. You could say that was a half Nelson on him, I think.
Well, he's had one or two fouls against him since the start of the game, but in that situation there really is no excuse for it. In that formation, you find inevitably that one of your centre-backs will be in a wide position, as he was there, and you're really not looking for him to be too clever.
And meanwhile, Henrik Larsson is getting attention to that knee. Celtic moving forward very cannily. Well, that's a good turn, and that's offside. The first time they've opened up that Kilmarnock defence. Sutton doing what he's been doing all season, guarding, shielding, and then laying off. Very studious demeanor there of Lennon when he's on the ball, just playing it carefully. Moravcik. A beautiful play by Moravcik. Can he get it across? He can! And just shuffled away. Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. He's hardly been in the game. A little double shuffle, and he almost gets through. Yeah,
it was super play by Moravcik. He just sold a wee dummy and got through between the two Kilmarnock players. Bobby will not be too enamoured by their defensive display there, but right to the byline, and unfortunately the cutback.
There's the corner, and Marshall with Vega at his back. Very clean clutch there by the keeper. Well, simply nobody downfield there. Holt had come forward, offering really no threat to that defence. Well, Dindaloo came right across him there. Now he has to be very, very careful. Under any other circumstances, I think the referee might have produced the yellow card for this, although in that slow motion replay, not maybe as bad as it first appeared.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you see it in slow motion, obviously the referee doesn't have that benefit. Henrik Larsson went to ground just a wee bit easily there. It's fair enough. I mean, it's a forward in a threatening position, and he's committed the defender to make the challenge, and he's gone down.
Oh, this will be swept in. A really vicious in swinger, and Marshall leaving the ball behind him. Well, he gave that defence the collywobbles, and I think his manager cardiac arrest. He seemed to have it. Swept across, well, that's a better save. But all credit on the far side to Healy with his determination to get that ball over.
Yeah, it was great determination from young Colin Healy. That's a big part of his game, and it was a decent cross. Celtic just couldn't get in there across the front post, and Gordon Marshall, I have to say, has had a terrific start to the game, although he dropped that last one. I think it's very important that the defenders and the Celtic front players know that they've got a goalkeeper that's going to be coming and put himself among them today to try and take the ball.
Oh, very slag play by Vega, who very cunningly looks round at the tuff behind him, as if the grass had been a handicap to him.
We've all used that one before, Archie.
There's McPherson. That's a great clearance there. That in towards Dargo, and that's a corner kick from the big Swiss international, who's looking slightly awkward. Also has that beaming smile about him, radiating optimism.
I think that's why Bobby Williamson would have been very keen to get Craig Dargo on his line-up today against the Celtic back ones. Vega particularly is a very big, strong man, but mobility is not his strong point, and Dargo's really trying to get round about him.
Trying the shorter one this time. It is down there, and the goalkeeper does well. Just about to say, Bobby, I'm never quite sure what the benefit of a short corner kick is when they just simply play it down. There's Larsson going in. That was a great tackle. And I think Henrik Larsson tried to make something out of that, but it was a great tackle. Watch the ball into the ball there. And the referee, good decision.
Well, I think it was a perfect decision. What a great tackle by young Hay. I mean, a young man like that playing, I think, his first cup final, and he knew there was no margin for error there, but he's executed the tackle brilliantly.
There's Kilmarnock's tendency to keep going round and across the field, as personified by Mahoud there. Looks to me as if Ian Durrant may be in trouble. Physically, I mean, I think he's limping towards the touchline, and he may have said goodbye to this final. We shall see.
Yeah, very similar to Bobby Petta. He was really playing a cross-field pass there, and it looked, he pulled up in pain right away. I don't think he's going to be able to take part again.
No, he's not. I think Bobby Williamson is calling for the substitute. Here's Kokar. Well, at least it's a shot at goal, which have been few and far between in the game. Larsson, great play. That's a free kick again. Intelligent play by Larsson at the root of that probe. And there's a player I was talking about playing with relish. Really going down there. This could again be interesting. Very hard tumble there by Healy. That isn't the boy who's come on as a sub. The great left foot of his. Well, it was close to that near post there. As I said about him, I once saw him taking a crossbar away. He was only on for 30 seconds. He can really hit them hard. Radchik trying for a little 1-2. Don't get away with it. Dandelou tries to go through there. Well, they've been getting as many players as they can to the edge of the penalty area, including Colin Healy there. Little toe ender. Yeah,
he couldn't just quite get his foot round the ball there. I think the Kilmarnock players are appealing for a handball. It was a very tight situation, plenty of bodies on the edge of the penalty box there. I think it was the right thing to try and hit it first time, but unfortunately he's not quite got the right connection on it.
The first half comes to an end. There's no scoring in this game yet. A cup tie that's been blighted by injury. Bobby Petta first off. which was a crucial moment in the game. And then, of course, Ian Durrant. Not many efforts at goal. Not a game of great fluency. But nevertheless, in the second half, given that they've had a good long hard look at each other, it'd still be interesting.
Skelly's Motherwell, under the personal direction of Ian Skelly.
And off they start, second half, having, I'm quite sure, delighted the very big Kilmarnock support away to our left-hand side. Took a little while to sell all the tickets, but sometimes wonder where all these folk go every Saturday down in Ayrshire when Kilmarnock are playing at home. We've got about 12 to 14,000 in there today. Celtic, no question at all about it that they've been affected by the Peta injury earlier on, and lacking that kind of width that Agat, Peta and Thompson gave them. They're having to accommodate that. On the other hand, Kilmarnock have lost Ian Durrant, and Durrant was playing very tidily in midfield. Running round the outside there is Moravcik. Look at the back up there by firstly Lambert, then Lennon, Sutton. Well, that's a great ball forward. That's a save. It really is an excellent closing down of a player at that angle, and Colin Healy almost made the breakthrough.
Well, we had the offside decision in the first half, which was very close. That one was too. I think maybe just in line, so maybe the linesman just got it right there. But again, Gordon Marshall coming to Kilmarnock's rescue. He's a big imposing figure, and he got his body in front of the ball there.
Well, he had that one little fumble. Apart from that, he's been quite excellent. They're all in there. It's in. Larson's done it. The deadlock has been broken inevitably. The man scoring his 45th goal of the season, and Hamden erupts in green and white as the Swedish international, in a congested goalmouth, finds a space to put it away.
Well, once again, for Celtic, it has happened so often this season. They've got the breakthrough from a set piece. It was a short corner. Moravcik put in a good ball. The big bodies compiling in. And as usual, Henrik Larsson right on his toes there. Still a bit to do. Gets his body turned and puts it into the bottom corner, giving Gordon Marshall no chance. You know, he's got every type of finish in his armoury, and not least from set pieces. It wasn't directly to him there, but as I say, he was very alive to the situation, and was on to it in a flash, and from that moment on it was inevitable that the ball was going to finish in the back of the net.
Really driving forward, still in there. Yes, he's waving the Celtic players to get up. Here's Kokar. And Celtic really at the moment are brushing Kilmarnock aside. Here they are on the recovery row, the counter-attack, and that will be a free kick. Not only brushing them aside, pounding them into the earth.
Well, Christophe Kokar was just getting to his feet when Alan Mahood gave him the pass there, and he had a quick look and he saw Johan Mjällby coming. He knew he was in a bad situation. He just waited and took the tackle, but I don't think he was expecting to get quite as sore a knock as he's got.
And Kokar, I think, is indicating he's had enough. And Andy McLaren will come on. I think some eyebrows were raised that McLaren was on the bench.
Yeah, well, mine did actually. I think Kokar's got a great pedigree. I mean, I think he's been capped with France. I just wonder if he's suffered a wee bit from lack of match fitness. He was on the ball enough, but you know, wasn't able quite to make that final pass at the right time. But I think McLaren can do a great job for Kilmarnock.
Celtic pressing down on Kilmarnock at the moment, and Valherin couldn't get that ball up. Well, that surely tackled from the back. There's a free kick and a booking. Mark Hewitt's a crucial one, because Dargo had made the break. He had a player to his right-hand side. Adani carried on, but it was certainly a foul.
Yeah, it was a correct decision. Paul Lambert, I think, sensed the the danger there. I thought Craig Dargo just hesitated a wee bit to play Andy McLaren in, and in doing that it proved fatal. But a free kick in a reasonably dangerous area where it could have been so much better for Kilmarnock.
Well, just a little set too between McGowan and McLaren there. Looks to me as if McLaren is going for it. Tries to put it through, and at least it made Jonathan Gould stretch out.
Yeah, it's a decent effort from Andy McLaren. He's got a bit of swing on the ball. Jonathan Gould's had to move quickly across his goal just to ensure that it goes by that far post. But you know, it's a good effort, and I think Andy McLaren's a type that wants to take responsibility. He's got the chance to come on in a cup final, and I can remember him playing well for Dundee United against Rangers way back in the early 90s, and they got a cup winners medal that day. So
Healy has really played well for Celtic. I mentioned him halfway through that first half, and he has sustained that form, boring his way into that defence, causing them all kinds of upsets and getting free kicks. In other words, he's fulfilled the function asked of him.
very much so. I mean, I think it speaks volumes for him that he's been able to come in and perform the way he has.
Also tempting one, and Vega got to it. Well, there's a claim that the ball had been taken over the line, but they're not going to get away with it. Let's see what this reveals.
And once again, Vega getting right in there, and that was definitely dropping in and goal. Gordon Marshall, I think, first of all, thought he was going to have to tip it over, but once again, his decision-making was correct, and he was able to catch it. And although his feet went behind the line, he kept the ball in front of the line.
And free kick to Celtic. Yes, everything's going okay so far. Touched by Dindaloo. Well, nothing going right for Kilmarnock at the moment. Little marshy part of Hampden Park down there. Lennon. I think there must have been a deflection.
I have to say, I think it can be demoralising, you know, at any time losing a goal in a cup final, but I think Kilmarnock have kept their concentration quite well. They've made forays up into the Celtic half, and you know, they're not going to lie down and die here.
I think Lambert penalised for that. The boot up high, free kick. Well, still going at it. It's not exactly a secret weapon I'm talking about, but Alan McCoist is on the bench. And that's really what they're lacking, Kilmarnock. Player in that penalty box with threat and menace. Dargo. Gus McPherson taking off after it. Ball still in play. Vega getting it away. Holt took his eye off it. Now that was two players going after the ball, and it's a red card. Sutton gets the red card. I'd like to see this replay again. Off he goes. He's a big physical player, there's no doubt about it. He lays himself around, and the near side challenge there gets him the red card.
Yeah, he knew Gary Holt was always favourite there, Chris Sutton, and he's just waited and put his leg in just a wee bit late, maybe a wee bit harsh, especially in a cup final, but Hugh Dallas was well positioned and he's made the decision, and it really opens the game up now for Kilmarnock, and Celtic down to 10 men.
Well, I said Hugh Dallas is a courageous referee. I mean, he doesn't mess about. Some people say he's also a confrontational referee. Likes to prove that he's the boss. Anyway, Celtic down to 10 men. That'll be a free kick. Very obvious one. And you wonder how Celtic are going to adjust to that, whether they'll sit back, well, not sit back, Billy, but try to take on Kilmarnock much more in the counter-attack.
Well, they do have a lead to defend, and you know, they're down to 10 men, but they have enough quality on the pitch still to hurt Kilmarnock, and the pace of Henrik Larsson will obviously be very important in that scenario. I'm talking about looking for adjustment, not only from the team that's down to 10 men. You're looking to see if Kilmarnock have changed it in any way. Not at the moment. I mean, they possibly could look to commit another player forward, especially when chasing a one-goal lead. And also they have McCoy still on the bench to come on and give them another front threat.
There it goes. Mahood is in there. Lennon getting Celtic out of that tight situation very well. Well, that's a brilliant ball there by Larsson. Couldn't get it back properly. Lambert coming up to give support. That immaculate touch again by Henrik Larsson. Switching the play immediately, and Celtic got the corner kick. Well, quite apart from the way they've got to organise themselves in a situation like this, I think spirit and character, determination, these qualities come into play.
Very much so, but this is one situation where, you know, it doesn't matter whether they're down to 10 men, they're a real threat at corner kicks, and they'll put bodies in there.
To Moravchik again. Offside. Two players offside there. Out came the Kilmarnock defence. In it goes. And no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kilmarnock do that as well as anybody. I've seen once the ball's played back, they shift up and leave players in there. I don't think there's any doubt that it was an offside position.
Dargo, seen hardly anything of him. Look at the way that Celtic are cutting off the ball in midfield, as we've pointed out. Kilmarnock failing to make any penetration. There again. Says a lot for a side reduced to 10 men, but they're keeping the ball mostly and being given little presence to this man of all men. Free kick. Now the Celtic supporters are trying to point out to Hugh Dallas, as if he needs to know, that this man has already been booked. And he goes there. Well, if it's a free kick and it's a tackle from the rear, it's surely a yellow card.
I would think so. He's very, very fortunate indeed. Hugh Dallas indicating that he went for the ball, but you know, if you mistime it and you bring a player down, having already been booked and had some other fouls, I think he can consider himself very fortunate not to be in the dressing room.
Free kick well within the scoring range of the talented either Moravchik or Henrik Larsson, or indeed the youngster Craney. Craney going for it against the wall. Now's the break by Kilmarnock. Here's the pace of Mjolby coming into play. Getting back very quickly. Once again, a decision going to Kilmarnock. Dindaloo wildly in again. Goal kick, I think. Well, there has been, thankfully, a very competitive edge to this game right from the start, and that's been good. As the sun comes out on what is a very deceptive afternoon, because whilst it might look very pleasant, it is indeed very cold. And Dindaloo is being taken off now.
Yeah, the Celtic supporters not happy there. That's just kind of highlighted the scenario we had there, where he maybe should have been sent off. Bobby Williamson's recognised that and he's taken him off, and that means that we won't see Ali McCoist, because I think that's Kilmarnock used the free sub.
Well, 38-year-old Ali's had his triumphs in the past. 10 cup finals, 9 winners' medals. I just get the impression Bobby has read that rather well, that if there had been the slightest sneeze by Dindaloo out of place, he would have been off. A bit of hesitation there. Referee Webbing, play on. Three players going for it, a little bit of congestion again. Here's Moravcik. Henrik Larsson was screaming for it, but he let fly. He does, he's done it again! Quite amazing the way he took that. And with great elegance and precision, just flighted that above everybody else into the back of the net. Look at the way he did that. Oh, it's a deflection. He gets the aid of a deflection. That's a ball played to him. He's left on his own. Scooped it up, and unfortunately for Chris Innes, off his foot into the back of the net. And neither Celtic nor the supporters will be worried about the in-off. Celtic leading by 2-0. And the Sunshiners come out at the right time in appropriate tandem with that song about Henrik Larsson. Really did well to get that through. Here's Lambert. You tried for the 1-2, it almost came off. Oh, they're mopping up everything in midfield again. It's a hoovering up operation out there.
They've proved this season that when they get in front, Celtic, they're very difficult to peg back. They're so solid in that middle area of the pitch, both their back three and Lennon and Lambert in front of them. I think Kilmarnock are going to have to commit a body or two further forward. They're 2-0 down. It's the only way to get back into the game, I think.
I think you were right in saying that they did keep to the game plan and stuck to Kilmarnock, but I think now you can see tangibly that there's a demoralising tide going through the team now. You know, they just seem the legs out there, some of the legs seem to be like jelly. Yeah,
particularly the nature of the second goal where it's off a deflection. I think maybe you start to think that it's not going to be your day.
Vega rising to that splendidly. Gus McPherson was apologising to the referee, if you could call it that. And the veteran of the side going up very high there. I think he tried to hold himself back eventually.
Yeah, the ball was there to be won. It was dangerous play by McPherson, there's no doubt about it. But to be fair to him, he did try to pull out at the end there.
There he was again, up for everything. Certainly any doubts about the effectiveness of Colin Healy dispelled very early in the game, and he's continued that. Dago really lacking a little bit of support. He had the pace, but nobody powerful beside him. Pinheiro. Very obvious ball played forward there by McGowan. Lambert charging through. Well, I don't think this massive Celtic support were in any doubt that even with a depleted side or a partially depleted side, that their team would show a great deal of spirit concentration in this match, and that's exactly what they've shown. For all that Kilmarnock have had a lot of possession going into that last third, do you think they ever really scared that Celtic defence?
Well, we suspected before the game that that would be their problem.
Larsson goes away again. This could be the hat-trick coming up. It is. He did that beautifully eventually. All the length of the field, he didn't panic. As many a player would have stumbled or lost his conviction, leaving McGowan for dead, and then watch this little deception there before tucking it away.
Well, if there's an element of luck about his second goal, there's certainly no element of luck there. He's run half the length of the pitch. An absolutely magnificent composure when he gets in there. Gordon Marshall has come out just at the right time to try and narrow the angle and force him into shooting. He's just rolled his foot over the top of the ball, took it to his left and rolled it into the empty net. A fitting goal for a cup final.
Well, you know, we're talking about a player who already must rank with the Celtic greats, including Kenny Dalglish, who used to score goals like that, as you probably know. And there he is, demonstrating the full power of his art in that long run and that magnificent finish. Canero might have played from the start today, Canero, of course. That was another of the possibilities in the selection. Just taken away there by Canero. Well, he's sharp, and certainly I think Kilmarnock could have done with that pace and aggression up front today, even from a wing back. Yeah,
he's been an impressive performer for them this season, Peter Canero. Bobby's decided to go with the experience of Gus McPherson in that wing back role.
Meanwhile, Larsson, as they go into this, is lucking on the halfway line, just waiting for the break to come. There he is. Larsson's final. That's what it'll be called. Well, that's what I'm calling it anyway. Corner kick. Dabbed in and easily pushed away. We go towards the final whistle now. Let me pick out my own particular hero in it, and it was, of course, the youngster, apart from the obvious one, of course, Henrik Larsson, Colin Healy. But your man in the match, Billy.
Well, I think there's been a few contenders. Gordon Marshall in the Kilmarnock goal. As you say, I was going to give it to Colin Healy until Larsson scored that third goal to get his hat-trick, and the real class of the man shone through there, so it has to be Henrik Larsson.
The final whistle goes, and Martin O'Neill has picked up his first trophy in Scotland. He's already done it south of the border with Leicester in the comparable trophy. Sporting handshake there is John Robertson, who scored, of course, so many goals alongside O'Neill for Nottingham Forest. Enjoys and savours that moment, but surely all lovers of this club will savour the individual performance of that man there, Henrik Larsson. He wasn't in the game as much as he's been in others, but I think we also emphasise the fact that Celtic, not just with Larsson, but with other players, are capable of turning a game in a few seconds, as he did. And that long run of his, and that delightful little Highland Scottish over the ball that deceived the goalkeeper and slipped it into the back of the net, will long be remembered in this final. 3 goals to Henrik Larsson. The CIS League trophy to Celtic Football Club. For Kilmarnock, well, hardly any consolation. Remember, they were playing against 10 men for a considerable part. And let's now go to Martin O'Neill.
Martin, your first piece of silverware as manager of Celtic. Can you describe your emotions?
Well, it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. The players were absolutely magnificent from start to finish. It's been a long, long season for them. They've been leading the league for months and months and months. It was a difficult one today, but they were fantastic.
Have you run out of superlatives for Henrik Larsson?
Well, it's sensational. Sensational. World-class footballer.
You can see Ian Durrant as the losers in the CIS Cup final against Celtic by 3-0. A hat-trick by Henrik Larsson, who's just been presented with his Man of the Match award, by the way. He'll have enough to start his own Harrods store by the time he's finished his career. And here he comes, Paul Lambert. The broad smile on the face of Neil Lennon there as he comes forward with the rest of his Celtic players. Yusuf Heron wasn't put under any great pressure today. There's a young fella, I thought it was outstanding. Healy. Now Paul Lambert. Mr. William Tucker of the CIS presenting the cup. One of the great moments to stand up there at Hampden Park and raise the cup. Well, there's Jonathan Gould. Yes, special cheers, I imagined, for that man. He's always got a broad smile on his face. It's a great moment, Billy. You experienced it back in 1985 with the red shirt of Aberdeen.
Yeah, there's nothing to beat it, but I'm just thinking it's amazing to think that at this time last year they were doing the very same thing, Celtic, but obviously in very different circumstances.
Different, totally different. Yeah. I mean, this is a solid Celtic team. This is, I suppose you like, epoch building. The way they've gone about winning the league, and now this.
Henrik, 12 months ago, Celtic had this trophy in troubled times. A lot has changed since then.
Yeah, that's true. We're looking forward. I don't even know what to say here.
What about the goals? A hat-trick in a final. You must be delighted with the performance.
Yeah, obviously I'm pleased. I think that was a great result for us. They made it very hard for us today, and we managed to get the first goal, and then we got a second one when we most needed it because Chris was sent off, and then once it was 3, then the game was finished.
It was a tough shift for you. What were you thinking when you picked up the ball at the halfway line?
No, I was just thinking go on, and then I shook the defender loose. I have to be in.
And there's the Celtic team down there. Henrik Larsson, well, some of them have put on these green hats. It makes them look like fast food attendants, but it is the Celtic winning team down there.
That is the modern way to get on sometimes T-shirts and hats, whatever they can get their hands on. I think maybe sponsors, caps there, so as I say, that's part of modern day football.
Everybody mentions Henrik Larsson, but Colin Healy was outstanding.
Great young kid coming in, and we know what he's like in training. He holds his own in training. He's a young kid, and no, fantastic for him.
It's the first trophy. Everybody's thinking about the treble. This must be a tremendous boost for all the boys.
It's fantastic. I mean, a lot of pressure on it, the new manager and everything come in, but all credit to everybody at the club for the manager right down. They've worked very hard.
And a tribute to the manager. He's turned this club around.
Oh, God's sake, unbelievable what he's achieved, and hopefully he can continue.
Enjoy your day, Paul.
The cup being paraded round Hampden Park to the sounds of a song written for a Broadway show, but which has been purloined rightfully by football. Down in Merseyside and here in Glasgow.
Yes, well done to Celtic this afternoon, winners of the CIS Insurance Cup for the second consecutive year. Now, one league match played today.